Hey everybody, so today's stuff, it's good, might be a little bit challenging, and that's okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to walk you through a couple of them. You had to do 18 through 30 on this page right here, but it was just the evens, so we're going to walk through a couple of them together. I won't do everything with you, but I'll do a bunch with you. All right, so 18 says the absolute value of c plus 4 equals 6. Now, one of the things we talked about was absolute value can never be equal to a negative number. But really what I mean by that is I look over here and this number cannot be negative. Right now it's not. So then I look into here and I say, all right, this whole thing right here, this whole thing needs to be, this absolute value needs to be equal to 6. Well, there are two different ways that you can get an absolute value equal to 6. Either the thing inside, so the pink can be 6, or the pink part can be negative 6. So again, this pink part can be positive or negative. The yellow part has to be positive. Okay, so what's in the pink? Now I take off the absolute value and just say, okay, c plus 4 has to be 6, or c plus 4, c, not 6, c plus 4 could be negative 6. So you go through, you solve it, you might say, hey, I can do that in my head. Yes, but be careful because you're going to get two separate answers. So now I've got c equals 2. Did you get that one? And what do you get over here? Minus 4, so I get c equals negative 10. So you're almost always going to have two answers, and you're looking for what could go in here as the c. So if I did 2 plus 4, that gives me 6. Absolute value of 6 is 6. And then if I do c is negative 10, well, negative 10 minus, or plus 4 gives me negative 6, and the absolute value of negative 6 is 6. All right, let's try the next one. Number 20, I'm not going to do 20 with you because really it's the same as 18. It just has the 3 on the other side. So let's look at 22. 22 says negative 3 times the absolute value of 2w equals negative 12. So several people right away said, hey, you can't do it, it's no solution. Not true. And you say, Beaver, I see negative 12 over here. You are right. However, then I look over here. Do you see how this negative sign actually is offset by this one? Because if you have a negative on each side, technically this negative 3 is times the 2w. So you have to get rid of the negative 3 first. So I divide by the negative 3. I get 2w is equal to 4. So I still have my absolute value over here. Now I go in and I switch it into two problems because this little piece right here, I'll go back in and highlight it. Over here is, oops, that's positive. I meant to make that yellow. This is positive, and so then I've got to see this 2w can equal either 4 or what else could it equal? 2w could equal positive 4, or go to the other side of the number line. 2w could equal negative 4. So this pink thing right here, inside there you can end up negative. So this has to equal either positive 4 or negative 4. So what are my two answers then? Well, you go through your show your work, and I'm not going to tell you the exact answers. I want you to figure it out mathematically. You should be able to do that. As I look at 24, it's almost the same as 22. So I want you to work through that. I'll give you a quick little highlight just in case you need it. This is the piece. You've got to get that there. So that d plus 4, we want to get that by itself. So you got to move this 2. So don't forget to move the 2. And then you can solve for the d plus 4. But let's go over, I want to do number 26 because that was a fabulous one and several of you asked really good questions about. So absolute value of 3t minus 2 plus 6 equals 2. So the first thing I have to do is get this absolute value. I'm going to put it in pink again because that at least helps me visually know that I want to get this piece, this whole piece, because it's inside of the absolute value. I want that all by itself. So that being the case, now I've got to undo this plus 6. That plus 6 is not multiplying in there or anything, it's just adding. So I'm going to minus 6. Alright, so there we go. I subtract 6 from both sides. It cancels out here. So I get the absolute value of 3t minus 2 equals negative 4. Now I want to show you something there. I'm going to put this in yellow. What do you notice? Yeah, the outside cannot be negative. This thing, you could get a negative for all of the purple, but you cannot get negative on this yellow piece right here. So therefore this one has a special answer. What is it? I'm not going to tell you, but you figure it out. All right, so let's see, 28. We'll talk about it tomorrow, but I'm guessing if you see that's a negative, look in your notes and you can find it. All right, ooh, 28. I like this one. This one's my favorite. So there it magically appeared on your screen. Hopefully you have already written it down. So I've got a couple of things going on. My first thing I have to do is get all of this purple in the absolute value by itself. And so to do that, it's going to kind of look like an equation that we solved before. So I've got times 3 plus 4. What do you undo first? Yeah, you're going to subtract 4 first. And so when you do that, you're going to drop down a 3 times the absolute value of x plus 2 equals 11. Oh my gosh, we had one super similar to this one in your examples. Then now I've got to undo this 3. How do you undo that? It's a times. How do you undo times 3? Got it. Divide by 3. What went wrong? You're like, Beaver, something went wrong. Yes, something did go wrong. Do you see it? What was my mistake? Yeah, that was not 11, but a bunch of you probably didn't even catch it. It's 9. I don't always catch things until I'm dividing and think, this doesn't work. Absolute value of x plus 2 equals 3. Now I've gotten to the place where this is by itself, so life is good. So I'm going to just write that. So my x plus 2, that can equal a couple of things. So x plus 2 are both from in here. And then I know that either equals positive 3 or what's the other thing it could equal? Negative 3, because this whole thing is 3 away from 0. So how do I undo this plus 2? Minus 2, minus 2. So I drop it down. X equals 1. X minus 2, x minus 2. X equals negative 5. There you go. All right, we've got one more. All right, so we got 30 is the absolute value of negative 3n minus 2 equal to 4. All right, so again, I'm just going to highlight it so you can see it. This is what I want to get by itself first. So I'm going to go in. I've got to move this minus 2. How do I do that? Yeah, I add 2 to both sides. Good, good, good. Drop this down. So the absolute value of negative 3n is equal to 6. Now, again, just to remind you, this thing right here is 6 away from 0 because that's what it says. So I just write exactly what this says. Here's the question. It's actually you write negative 3n. Negative 3n is equal to 6, or negative 3n is equal to negative 6. So even though this was negative in there, negative inside is okay. You just pull out exactly what you saw. Okay, so how do I undo this? I divide by, okay, so you get n equals, I'm not going to tell you what it equals. I think you are capable of figuring that out. Over here, I'll divide by -3, divide by -3. So you get n equals, you figure out that one too. So hopefully that helps you a little bit. We'll come back and work on it tomorrow, but we're going to add in inequalities. It's going to be awesome. See you tomorrow.